On the evening of April 25th, 2022, Trevor Crowley was at Wooten High School playing a pickup game of basketball when he started to feel weak. Trevor decided he should sit down and rest until he felt better. Trevor sat down on some mats in the corner of the gym. After a few minutes, other players in the gym noted that Trevor had slumped over on the mats, and when they went over to check on him, Trevor was found to be unresponsive. Pete and Esteban, two of Trevor's teammates and friends, started to assess Trevor and realized that he had agonal respirations and did not have a pulse. Pete and Esteban immediately sprang into action. Pete initiated CPR and administered chest compressions, while Esteban worked to open and maintain Trevor's airway. One bystander left the gym to track down an AED, and another bystander left the gym to call 911, where the call was answered. In a chaotic situation with limited information and poor reception, Calltaker Hamoud was able to gather enough information to realize the patient was in cardiac arrest and dispatch the appropriate units. Meanwhile, 17-year-old Jacob McDonald was at the high school finishing up soccer practice and was walking back to his car in the parking lot. He happened to look in the direction of the school building and witnessed a chaotic scene with people scrambling around. Jacob approached one of the bystanders near the school and asked what was going on. He was informed that a gentleman had gone into cardiac arrest. Jacob did not hesitate. He rushed into the gym and approached the crowd and informed them that he knew CPR. At this time, Pete had been doing chest compressions for nearly 10 minutes and was very fatigued, so he switched with Jacob, who resumed chest compressions. At this time, school staff members ran into the gym after having located an AED and worked on placing it on Trevor as Montgomery County Fire and Rescue crews were arriving on the scene. MCFR crews assumed chest compressions and initiated high-performance CPR with ventilation assisted via bag valve mask. Trevor was placed on the cardiac monitor where he was found to be in ventricular fibrillation. Trevor was defibrillated and vascular access was established with an IO. Epinephrine and lactator ringers were administered. Trevor remained in ventricular fibrillation and was defibrillated 3 more times before pulses and spontaneous respirations returned and ROSC was achieved. A 12 lead was quickly conducted and ST segment elevation was noted. Trevor was packaged for transport and moved to the EMS unit for transport to Shady Grove Medical Center. En route to the hospital, an IV was established as a secondary access point and an amiodarone was administered. The crew notified Shady Grove via AMRC and declared a STEMI alert and transmitted a 12-lead EKG, which the hospital used to quickly activate the cardiac catheter lab. Assisted ventilations were continued in conjunction with the patient's own breathing. The patient's condition was monitored and reevaluated. Upon arrival to Shady Grove, patient care was transferred to the waiting emergency department staff. Trevor was stabilized in the emergency department and sent to the cardiac cath lab where a stent was placed in his LAD, his left anterior descending artery. Trevor's condition continued to improve and he was discharged home neurologically intact with no deficits on May 2nd, 2022. The chain of survival is integral in increasing the patient's chances of survival in the event of sudden cardiac arrest. Pete, Esteban, and Jacob's quick actions and knowledge of CPR, the early activation of 911 resources, the performance and communication of the 911 call taker, and the skills, teamwork, and professionalism of the crews on scene all contributed to the successful outcome for Trevor. And Trevor would like to say a few words.
Thank you for doing this. This is, something that should be done as often and as possible. I just want to thank everybody for what they do. I don't know what makes you do what you do, but thank you for doing it. Saved my life. This is the first time I've seen most of these people. I've seen one of these people on stage just once since this whole thing took place. And I was very lucky because so many things had to align for me to just be here today. And for me to be released from the hospital on my own recognizance, that was questionable because I remember very distinctly, first of all, I don't remember anything about this issue. I don't remember the day, I don't remember the event, I don't remember the subsequent days. I was in the hospital for about a week, in a coma for a few days, and I came out and I was ready to get out. And the neurological team came in and they said, okay, let's just test you for a second. Here, repeat after me. The brown dog crossed the street to get the yellow dog. And I said the purple, yellow, and blue, and I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't remember what was told to me 2 seconds ago, but I've since made a pretty quick recovery. And it was only because of the fast and immediate action from these guys, these men and women, and I appreciate it so much. This 17-year-old kid came out of nowhere. I mean, we got to keep teaching these people what to do. Since this day, I have received CPR training again. Like him, I was a lifeguard when I was a kid, but I didn't remember it. But I know it now. In case it's ever needed to save your lives, I hope I'm there to do it. Thank you so much.